Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
In baseball, miracles can happen when a team works together.
2 out, bottom of the ninth.
Down to their last strike.
The same is true in the fight against cancer. That's why MLB has teamed up with Stand Up to Cancer. Because we believe that when we all stand up together,
41,000 on their feet.
we can make cancer history.
Now everybody's standing.
What a buzz in this building.
This is beyond a dream. Stand up with MLB at standuptocancer.org.
The Sports Fix is on iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeart app today. Subscribe to the show and get your fix.
Indians fans, GV Art and Design has unleashed their new baseball collection. This summer, you've got to have one of the hottest baseball shirts available. Indians themes, GV Art has them covered from top to bottom. Chief Wahoo, keep the Chief, one of the hottest sellers going today. GV Artwork, knocking it out of the park, teaming up with Michael Brantley to create a custom Dr. Smooth t-shirt, bringing back an old classic. GV Artwork, bringing out the wild thing. Give them the heater design. The Cleveland That I Glove collection continues to grow. New designs for women and so much more. GVArtwork.com, bringing it full force to the plate for baseball season this year. Whether you check them out online, GVArtwork.com, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10 to save 10% on your total purchase. Whether you go to their store in Lakewood, check them out at the Cleveland Indians team shops around Progressive Field and so much more. GV Art and Design. It's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix Live here on the sportsfix.net, the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you as we roll on. I'm going to go to the phones here in just a second. 216-539-7535, the number to call. Or you can hit us up, facebook.com/the Sports Fix. Tweet with us at the Sports Fix, CLE. Email us, the Sports Fix at AOL.com. And as we roll back into the show, talk a little bit of Indians here. John McMullen from the Sports Network, 15 minutes away. Dan Wismar, 30 minutes from now. He's going to join us as well. A lot going on, and let's dive right back into it. Of course, not really an Indians final score to talk about today. For those of you that missed it, there was some rain last night, as I am well familiar with, because that rain followed me all weekend long. It followed me where I went. It followed me while I stayed. It followed me back. And now it hit the Indians as well. And they thought they were going to get that thing in last night, too. They said, 11:30. We're going to go back out here and play some ball around 11:30. And no, that didn't work out as well. Indians did some slipping and sliding, entertained the few dozen loyal fans that were still left by that point. Let me tell you, if they would have been playing, they would have been playing for the clubhouses and about 14 people that were still left at the park. But they didn't, and that game is now a part of an old school doubleheader today as the Indians and the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I'm telling you, the beginning of a homestand and an opportunity for the Tribe to mow some grass here. And I'm not even joking that the time for talking is done. You're hitting a homestand against some bum teams, and you got the other teams around you starting to falter a bit. Speaking of, man, you can't shake Detroit for your life. Now, here you're thinking, if you're like me, if you're an Indians fan at the trade deadline and you go, damn, Detroit just got David Price. All right. Well, you know what? That's cool because Detroit's not in this whole wild card conversation. We'll plow our way through this wild card, and then we'll deal with Detroit in the playoffs. Well, Kansas City had another thing to say about that. And unbelievably, Kansas City has plowed their way right up into first place and put Detroit smack dab in the wild card conversation with the Indians and a bunch of other teams. Tribe, though, with some momentum and an opportunity here on this homestand. I told you guys, sitting at 500 is going to keep you in this same spot all year long. 4.5 back now in the wild card, 5 games back in the division. You've got Detroit, Seattle, Toronto, and the Yankees in front of you here. 3 of those 4 teams on a bad run. Yankees have lost 3. Toronto's lost 2. Detroit's lost 4 in a row. Seattle surging. Indians are doing pretty well. Of the top 6 teams in the wild card chase, only the Indians and Seattle above 500 in their last 10 games. Those 2 teams trending upwards, the other teams trending down. And then, of course, see, my man Bruce had to steal the thunder in the chat room. That's where I was getting ready to go. And the Indians put it in the hands of a couple of interesting pitchers here today. Of course, Trevor Bauer and what we've seen with him growth-wise and the occasional step backs here. And he's going to take on his former team as Bauer goes out there. And Josh Tomlin, he gets another shot at the starting rotation here. He will pitch game 2 for the Indians. And real quick, before we get into the ins and outs, the actual, just for those of you that don't know, 4 o'clock here. 3 o'clock's when they open the gates. 4 o'clock is when things get started. The way that the ticketing is going for today, if you have a ticket for today's scheduled game, the actual Wednesday game, you can go to both games for the ticket that you've already got. You can bring your ticket for the second game, and you can actually show up for game 1 and watch that game for free. So kind of a cool thing. If you have a few extra hours and you would like to catch 2, there you can. You get your ticket for tonight. It'll get you in for the makeup game that's going first. For those of you that had a ticket for yesterday, same thing here. You can stay for the night game as well. So you get an opportunity to see both games, or perhaps you can't make it. Maybe you're working, you can't get to the 4 o'clock game. You can still go to the other game as well because they're giving you tickets for both games. So basically, anybody with tickets for yesterday and today has tickets for both games now. So hopefully that'll help spruce up the crowd a little bit too. It's always tough when you have a next day turnaround doubleheader like that, you know. I mean, so that has to be considered as well. And then also, for those of you with tickets for yesterday that just can't make it back downtown today, the Indians didn't forget about you guys either. You can also trade your ticket for one of 2 other games, September 10th and September 22nd. I don't have the schedule in front of me, so I don't know who they're against, but you can also trade your tickets for either one of those games as well. So it gives you the chance to get out there and get your money's worth either way. Also, the Aviator sunglasses being given out instead of for the night game at 3 o'clock. First 10,000 people through the gates when they open things up are going to get that giveaway as well. So everybody's all squared away with the tickets here now. Doubleheader going on. And Bruce hit it right, man. He goes, and there's your guys taking the mound. Of course, Corey Kluber can only pitch every 5 days and sometimes every 4th game, depending on the way things work out. But unfortunately, neither of those are here today. So we'll see. We'll see what the Indians can do here. Like I said, you got to mow some grass, man. You got to put some work in against the Arizona Diamondbacks. You cannot play teams nearly 20 games under 500 and not take care of business. You know what's funny about the Diamondbacks is they're 51-67, but they're a 500 team on the road. They're 26-28, so they're just a hair below 500 on the road, which means they're absolutely terrible at home. Like that's, most teams are not that bad at home. Indians 34-22 at home with their 59-59 record, but Arizona clearly well below the average at home, but they're better on the road. So the Indians have to be on their game here, no doubt. And you cannot take for granted that these cats are going to roll over for you. Andrew Chafin taking the mound for the first game for Arizona. Vidal Nuno taking the game, lefty, both games for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bauer and Tomlin matching those guys up. And then you've got, of course, Baltimore and our friend Ubaldo coming back to town. Corey Kluber. It works out for the Indians that Kluber happens to pitch on a rockin' blast night, so you get double your money's worth, hopefully, there. Carrasco, and I want to mention Carrasco, by the way, because that's another thing in my notes from while I was out. Carrasco, I thought, stepped up, and at least for a one-time start, very good. It got me to thinking, man, if you would have just come out the gates like this at the beginning of the season, then maybe the season would have gone a different way, because we keep coming back to the rotation, guys. We keep coming back to the rock and trying to build a solid rotation. You got Corey Kluber and a bunch of guys who decide what days they're going to show up and what days they're not. And when I saw Carrasco the other day, I said, man, if you could have just done that from the beginning when they handed you the job coming out of camp, then maybe we're having some different discussions here now. Maybe a lot of things, go differently, because that, but we'll see. He could very well bounce back out. But it did show that what we've seen growing from him in the bullpen during these last couple of months was not an illusion. It wasn't a mirage, clearly. He went out there and pitched well, so we'll talk about that. Oh, man, Ubaldo, I see Bruce in the chat room, leads the league in walks. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But that's getting ahead. You got to take care of Arizona here first. You absolutely have to. And, that's key. Like I was saying, kind of got off of it there for a minute. You can't play teams 20 games under 500 when you're in the middle of a playoff race, however you want to term it. Can't do it. Absolutely can't do it. Remember a few weeks back when I was looking ahead and I was doing my schedule watching, we're hitting the stretch that I was pointing to when I kept telling Mike, well, I know you can't say, well, we're going to wait for that 10-game winning streak, but I said, looking at this schedule, I can see where it comes in. Now, obviously, you don't wait around for a 10-game winning streak, but 3 with Arizona, 3 with Baltimore, 3 with Minnesota, 3 with Houston, 3 with the White Sox. This is all before you get to Kansas City and then Detroit at the end of the month, beginning of September. Listen to that run of teams again and the records that they have. I'm not trying to be that team to take teams for granted. I'm looking at it real. Arizona, nearly 20 games, under 500. Baltimore, we know what's going on with them. Even though Ubaldo is struggling, they are a good team. That's the one that you've got to, obviously, you've got to come with your claws sharpened for that one. But you get past them, you keep rolling through the schedule. Minnesota, Houston, White Sox. So of your next 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 games, you've got 3 against a team. And again, Minnesota, you don't want to look past what they can do, but you have the opportunity here to win 10, 11, 12 of 15 perhaps if you take care of your business. And again, I'm not trying to look past teams. I know that every time you look past Minnesota, Gardy's got them guys taking 2 out of 3 from you, and I know that that's a possibility. So I'm not even going there. But I'm just saying, of these 15 games, beginning here with this doubleheader, I think that if the Indians are a playoff team, then they take anywhere from 10 to 12 of the next 15 games. If they don't, I don't see how you can look at the playoffs at that point, because you got the same teams coming around. They'll be coming around the mountain in September, because you got the same group of teams coming when you hit September. Detroit, Chicago, that one outlier with the Angels from earlier in the season. Minnesota, Detroit, Houston, Minnesota, Kansas City, Tampa Bay. There you go. The road is set for the Indians right there. Got to start at taking care of business here in this doubleheader. Love to see Josh Tomlin get off the schneid, too. I'm going to go to the phones. Caller, you're next up on the Sports Fix.
Big Daddy, how you doing, buddy?
Big Bob, how you doing,
Are you going to relinquish that mic or what? Or are you running for office out there in Ohio?
What's up, my man? How's it going, buddy?
All right, brother. We going to get a double dip in today? The weather good out there?
Better. They have to, man. They have to.
God,
you got to worry,
we were
though.
going to start last night.
Yeah,
we were going to start back up at 11:30.
You got Tomlin going, though, man. That's the thing I'm worried about. I know that was my guy, and I have to take responsibility for that. But hopefully he can go out here and take care of business.
Absolutely. Yep, we got AAA Bauer going and the Cowboy, and we're going to take that double dip today, without a doubt, because Friday I put the hex on the Yankees, and
you did.
I left my mark.